Notice, in accordance with the new copyright regulations, this episode of Quoth is intended for ages 16 and up, while some of the content we will feature is kid-friendly sometimes. The context of our episode is to address adults and inform those said content to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is the possibility of adult language present on the episode as well. Rated TV 16 and up. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth Raven with Bright Raven Thursday special edition for Thursday, April 29th, 2021. What'd you get this week? And comics reviews in lieu of the fact that I couldn't do it yesterday for Wednesday, and we didn't get our guests for this week for Thursday. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's go ahead and get quick to things, and we have one question, so we'll go ahead and have that question taken care of real quick. And that question is, if you review all the books from this week that you got this week, what will you have to review for next week's Monday Comics Review Show? Plenty. I'm way behind on stuff, but I'm actually going to be typing a lot of stuff as I'm talking and doing. So hopefully by the end of the show, I'll be able to put a graphic up that shows everything. But I've got at least 5 or 6 books for next week. So no worries about that. Okay? That being said, let's go ahead and get straight into reviews, if we can. And let's start with Astronaut Academy Volume 3 Splashdown trade paperback for $12.99. Publishers for second books. Writer-artist is Dave Roman. The colors are by Jessica and Jacinta Wabowo, also known as Jess and Sin. Genre is science fiction adventure, released April 6, 2021, but I got it this week. I don't know why, but they Diamond shipped my retailer the first volume instead of the third volume. I already had the first volume. That's why. What it's about. In this third installment of the Astronaut Academy series, it's summer vacation for the students, and Maribel Melonbelly is throwing the best party ever on a beach planet. But tensions rise when Hakata Soy's arch rival Rick Raven, not related to me, arrives on the scene. Soon the entire planet is heating up, with a giant volcano threatening to blow its top. Unless they can put their differences aside and work together to save the planet, the students of Astronaut Academy will be toast. This series is sorely underrated. It's for the kids who are growing out of the dog man and Captain Underpants stuff, but maybe aren't yet ready for the true life teen angsty yarns of Raina Telgemeier. The kids who are still wanting that fantasy science fiction driven adventure, but don't need today's overwrought, adulterized blood and guts, over-sexualized superhero garbage shoved in their faces. So that's who this book is for. And I recommend it for ages 8 and up, and I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And here's some of the artwork. And our next book is Cotton's The Secret of the Wind for $14.99. Publishers First Second Books. Writers Jim Pasco by artist Heidi Arnold. The genre is fantasy, anthology, and mysticism. Released originally in July 3rd of 2018. I got this a while back. I just finally got around to reading it. What it's about. To her neighbors in the Vale of Industry, Bridget Bell is an ordinary rabbit. All day long, she toils at the carrot factory. After a hard day, she returns home to care for her ailing auntie. And whenever she's out, she's watchful of the murderous foxes who prey on her kind. But Bridget Bell is not ordinary. She's a rabbit with talents beyond her own understanding. Using Cha, the mysterious fuel that powers her world, she can change everyday objects into tchotchkes. In other words, magical transforming works of art. Bridget Bell makes tchotchkes because they're beautiful, but there are those in her world who want to harness her powers and turn her art into weapons. Jim Pasco does a lot of writing about magic. He's written for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Hellboy and comics for Dark Horse, and it's pretty evident that he has given much care and thought into his world building. The story is very much a coming-of-age type of story, as our lead, Bridget Bell, is coming into her own as a child user, and you can tell there's influences from Miss Frisbee and the Rats and Nim, the Redwall book series, and Watership Down in the book, but Pasco does make the story his own. This is the first book of the series. I think there's 3 or 4 books that have been done. I think Heidi Arnold does great at making emotive characters, very good facial expressions and stuff like that, but sometimes they're not always distinctive from one another. And so you might find yourself rereading pages or going to the appendix to clarify which character is which. Hopefully that will improve with future books. I don't know. But if there's any real flaw in this book, that would be the flaw I see in it. I recommend it for ages 12 and up. I give it 4.5 stars out of 5. Let's take a look at some of the artwork. It's very well done. Has kind of a painterly animated series look. Pop culture says Avengers. And he also says, "What you gonna do when the Raven comes looking for you?" I'll tell you, brother. Nah, I'm not. I'm kind of out of my wrestling mode this week, and I'm really not into '80s wrestling at all, hardly at all anymore. So I'm more of a Sting fan anyway than Hulk Hogan. Let's see, more of that lovely painterly work there by Heidi Arnold. The fox pretty much has them trapped inside the trunk of the tree there, and the other rabbit, Susie, sprints out from the bush to distract the fox. And of course, you can kind of tell what happens there, but very well done. I think the faces and I don't know if you can see in this one panel here, the middle right panel on the right side of the page, his claws are actually digging in the ground because you can smell or scent. And this is like the very beginning of the sequence of the book too. The cover on this book is $14.99. Cover price. Certainly worth your time to check out. There's like 3 or 4 books out now, but this is the first one, The Secret of the Wind. It's called Cotton's series by Jim Pasco. Our next book is Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, #1, $3.99. It's a one-shot preview book by Scout Comics, writer Gilbert Deltres, artist Sebastian Navas, with colorist Tiago Barça. Genre is anthropomorphic science fiction action adventure. Released this week, April 28th, 2021. What it's about: a group of capybara galactic bounty hunters, Bash, Ripple, and Mona Lisa, and their father figure, a gunslinging gecko named Gangon, find themselves on the run when a huge interstellar bounty is placed on their heads. Facing everything from Viper snipers, armed armadas, and even a hulking robo-shark, can this heroic crew of space capybaras come together as a family before it's too late? This is basically a preview one-shot to a full graphic novel release that Scout will release. It's an okay intro. The colors ran a little too dark for my taste in the printing, but the scans that are showing on the screen are brighter than what the actual book shows, at least my copy. There could have been a dark red shift in the printing, or it could be the color palette is just too dark for my liking. I'm not really sure. The story and art are kind of homaging a mixture of 1980s and 1990s anthro comics and TV shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In fact, they have Ninja Turtle knockoffs in the book, and Biker Mice from Mars with their own spin. There's really nothing new to see. It's an okay book. This was originally an Indiegogo project. I don't know if it was released via Indiegogo and then Scout picked them up, or Scout picked them up and the IG campaign was closed, or how that worked. I guess I'll possibly pick up the trade when I see the rest of it, see how the rest of the story goes. But really, it's pretty much a run-of-the-mill book. I recommend it for ages 14 and up, and I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Nighthawk Warrior Comics says, that's awesome. Galactic Rodents of Mayhem was going to Scout Comics. That's so cool. The copies were printed. Wow, nice cover. He says he shared the show out. Have a great light stream. Thank you, Nighthawk. See you around. And let's take a quick look. Again, these are really lightened up images compared to the actual printed pages. Let me see if I can show you what I mean by that. You see how it looks on the screen. Now compare it to how it looks on the actual pages. You see how much darker it seems? I'll try and get it so it's comparative here. Trying to do it so that maybe, nope, won't do it. That's the best I can do. But anyway, I don't know. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's just it kind of went a little bit dark for me, to my liking. There's another page of it, and here you can see the kind of Ninja Turtles with their laser katanas type thing going on. It's okay, Story wise, again, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. But like I said, it's also kind of run of the mill. Our next book is Marvel Essentials 2 in 1 Presents the Thing, Volume 2 trade paperback, $16.99. Publisher was Marvel. Writers include Marv Wolfman, Jim Starlin, Roger Slifer, Tom DeFalco, Ralph Macchio, David Anthony Kraft, John Byrne, Peter Gillis, Alan Kuperberg, Bill Mantlo, and Stephen Grant. Artists include Ron Wilson, Ernie Chan, Jim Starlin, Sal Buscema, John Byrne, Alan Kuperberg, Chick Stone, Jim Craig, and Frank Miller. Genre is superhero action adventure, and it collects Marvel 2 in 1 26 through 52 and Marvel 2 in 1 Annuals 2 and 3. This collection was released originally in 2007. And I got this a couple of months ago, but I just got around to reading it. And what it's about? Well, there's 2 years of stories involving the ever-loving blue-eyed hunk of rocket orange rock, the Thing, as he teams up and faces off against a variety of characters and assorted adventures away from the Fantastic Four. Starting with an arc where the Thing and Nick Fury have to stop the Fixer and Mentello from controlling Deathlock to assassinate the newly elected president Jimmy Carter, to kind of give you a timeline of when this was taking place. To Thing versus Namor, the Thing teaming up with Shang-Chi against Hydra, the Thing battling Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew Jones, who's under the thrall of Hydra, to Thing and Spider-Woman teaming up to face off against the monsterized Alicia Masters. It just gets wonky. And Wolfman writes most of this stuff, and it's rather silly. I don't really want to go into the entirety of the collection. It's respectably fun 1970s, early 80s Bronze Age stuff. It's cheesy at times, to be certain, maybe even eye-roll inducing sometimes. But all in all, it's just a title meant to be read tongue-in-cheek and with the intent of just have fun with it and enjoy it. I do kind of wish they would do these kind of comics in the $1 True Believer print format for kids today in full color, but I'm not sure how much of it would get marketed correctly for kids as opposed to the older readers who would buy it out of nostalgia. Books like Marvel Team Up and Marvel 2 in 1 today could be titles that could be made to do well and done in one stories. And I know that I've seen Marvel try to do some things with them in catalogs recently, but I don't recall seeing them in the stores, and I don't recall anybody talking about them. In terms of other podcasts, I don't see other people who do reviews talking about these books, so I don't know how well they do or don't do. So if they're trying to do them and they're not doing well, or they're not really getting support from retailers or from readers, I think that's sad. But I don't know what to say about it, because as a reader myself, even though I think that's what we need, if I don't see it, I can't support it in stores, and if nobody else is buying it, maybe I don't know. Anyway, I recommend this collection for 12 and up, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars. And I'm not going to show a bunch of artwork because there's just too many different art styles being reflected in the collection. Our next book is Shadecraft number 2 for $3.99. Publisher is Image Comics. Writer is Joe Henderson. Artist is Lee Garbett, with colors by Antonio Fabella. Genre is horror, or horror comedy, I suppose. And it was released this week, April 28th, 2021. What it's about: Zadie awakens in her bedroom thinking she's being attacked by shadow creatures again, but it's just her parents letting her know that she's grounded. She doesn't care. Whatever. She has more pressing concerns, like how the hell is her brother alive as her shadow? Off to school, some other students try to pull a prank on her that backfires, and then she is sent to the school counselor. All the while, her brother's shadow, Ricky, is still doing annoying and silly things to distract and grab her attention. Sometimes it benefits her, sometimes it doesn't. The school counselor is new, and Ricky discovers that the counselor has a gun under that drawer, which apparently is some sort of shocking revelation in these times. I mean, in today's school society, I would not be surprised if many teachers are, licensed and have weapons hidden in their, have firearms hidden in their desk drawers in today's schools. But okay. Anyway, Ricky doesn't seem to trust her. So for whatever reasons, he convinces Zadie to sneak out of the house and into the school to break into the counselor's office, where, of course, the counselor's waiting for them. And she's pointing a gun at them and explains that Zadie's the source of all the shadow monsters that they've been facing in the first issue. Well, duh. Kind of knew that from issue 1. Not exactly a reveal there. So it's not entirely a wasted issue, but it does feel more like a half-hour episode of television, or half an episode of television, or a half-hour episode of television. And that's not enough for the money. Do more, do better, especially when you had such a great, strong first issue. It really does feel like a drop-off in the story, for me anyway. Recommend for ages 13 and up. The first issue I gave a 4.5 stars. This one I'm only giving a 3.5 stars because there's just, not much going on in this issue comparative to what happened in the first. And we go to the artwork, and in this scene, this is the pranks that they're trying to pull on her, and they basically, somebody tries to put a bunch of flowers in her locker, just say that they're so sorry that her brother's in a coma and blah, blah, blah. And it's, just kind of one of this fake video thing they're going to try and put on the internet. And so basically the shadow, Ricky, makes the evil girl, the mean girl, look like she's got a horse's ass coming out of her shadow on the locker. And that gets on the video instead. And that gets put all over. And that's kind of how they get back revenge on her for how she's been mistreating Zadie in the first issue, which was kind of cool. But then, of course, she gets called to the office, and then they get the school counselor, which is the new school counselor. And then you can kind of see the shadow. Okay, he's got rabbit ears behind the counselor. He does like glasses over the counselor's face. It's just the shadow, just trying to make Zadie laugh, and do foolish things in front of her. Oops. Pop Culture says he likes 2-in-1 and Marvel Premiere. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in those type of one-shot books. I wish we had more of that stuff in Marvel regularly, but unfortunately we don't. Anyway, yeah, the Shadecraft stuff is done fairly well. Again, the counselor isn't really a counselor. There's a reveal at the end. It's we'll see where it goes, but like I said, it's kind of a drop off from the first issue rather. Let's go ahead and go on to the next issue, our next book. Stake number 2, $3.99 by Scout Comics. Writer David A. Byrne, artist Francesca Fattini, letterer Joel Rodriguez, because they insist I have that on there. I don't know. Normally I don't put the letterer in. Not that letterers don't deserve credit. It's just more for space that I don't put letterers in. Genre is horror. Released April 28th. What it's about. Angel is forced to go back to monster sensitivity training and other classes to re-qualify for her bounty hunting. It's kind of dull and silly, and Angel explains it as such. Eventually, she's get pulled out of her detention training class to work shotgun with her partner, who first beats the snot out of her to retrain her, and then pulls her out of class again, this time to go out on an actual case. I'm sorry, but this is largely a filler issue, and the fact that issue 1 came out in January and this is April, almost May, and you're only now getting it out, it kind of makes me wonder what's going on with the book. The art is okay, but the story really doesn't seem to be going anywhere yet. And I hope that the story picks up soon, especially since so many readers are going to look at this as largely a black and white comic with minimal colors and put it back on the shelf, and then it's months late. It's not exactly helping their own cause with the creators here, I don't think. It is a mature reader's comic. There's violence, there's nudity, there's other things in it going on. So there it is. Rating 3 out of 5. We look at the art. There's more color in it in this than there was in the first issue. There's more grayscale and a little bit of yellow here, a little bit of yellow there. But you can see the minimalist type stuff that's here, of colorization. It's and the truth is, a lot of that coloring that's there wouldn't even necessarily need to be there. So I'm kind of like, Again, this is the class. They're just answering different silly questions. And then this is where she's out with her partner. And this is actually like the best page right here of the whole comic. Really nice drawing of the vehicle. Really nice motions of line art for the spinning of the wheels, the tire tread, angle. Some of the facial expressions are well done. So, that was actually the best page of the whole thing. And that's almost the end of the book. There's like maybe 2 pages left in the book when it gets to that. But, it is what it is. Our next book is Taarna number 5. $3.99, publishers Heavy Metal. Writer Stephanie Phillips by artist Al Barrianovevo. Colors by Brian Valenza. Cover by Christian Ward. Genre is science fiction fantasy. Released last week, April 21st, 2021. What it's about. Taarna gets taken back to her sanctuary by Shan to heal, and afterwards Taarna has Shan swim in her pool of eternity, or whatever it is. And Shan sees and feels everything Taarna does. Shan and Taarna go back to fight Urkus and his forces and get separated, and of course Urkus gets a hold of Shan and is about to kill her when we end this issue. Truth be told, the fact that it seems like there's a different art team every issue, and I have heard rumblings from artists that Heavy Metal isn't paying creators well, and this is why they aren't able to keep a steady art team on books like Taarna, it really has killed my interest in this book. Luckily, there's only 1 issue left to go, so I can muddle through it. But honestly, this really is a drop ball. Had this been Patrick Zircher as the interior artist for the entire run of the series, I'd probably be a lot more interested in it than I am. That's not to say that the other artists in the book are bad. It's just not that great of an idea to have multiple artists, 1 artist per issue of a story arc. It just, you lose, it's like you want a level of consistency, unless there's a specific reason to switch artists from issue to issue to reflect some sort of story element. And in this case, that's not a situation where that's a factor in play. So it's recommended for ages 17 and up. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. And here's the artwork by Al Barrianovevo and Brian Valenza. And again, it's not bad. it doesn't look bad at all. This is where she's wearing new armor after she's been healed from her injuries from the last issue, and she's just beating Urkus's forces up, basically. And there's Sean riding Urkus's steed. Anyway, moving on to Usagi Yojimbo number 19, $3.99, publisher IDW Publishing. Writer artist Dan Sakai with colors by Hi-Fi Design. Genre anthropomorphic samurai adventure. Released last week, April 21st, 2021. What it's about. The master of Habashima, Usagi, delivers a basket of lizards to an eccentric monk who lives on a remote island infested with snakes. Usagi learns that they share a history that goes back to the Great Wars and the Battle of Adaki Plain, where Usagi became a Ronin, and that the monk holds Usagi responsible for his own shame and fall from grace. As per usual, Sakai manages to tell a story that not only keeps the reader in the moment, but tells new readers who don't know the history of the lead character a backstory that explains his past without rehashing it, told from another character's point of view. The ability to do this seems lost on many other writers in comics today, as we keep seeing the same origins retold over and over from the same character's point of view, just with some quote-unquote additional information or detail that the character apparently didn't know or share with the audience prior. By telling it from someone else's point of view, you get a different perspective of how the character is perceived by the world around them, making the character feel more grounded and more realistic by comparison. Sakai does this well throughout the series, and I've probably mentioned this aspect of his writing before, but it particularly shines in this issue. Sakai also did an amazing job of telling a macabre reveal about the monk and his history with Usagi and his powers, meaning the monk's powers, since their days on the battlefield and opposing samurai for different lords. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't picked the issue up yet. Recommended for ages 10 and up. I give it 5 stars. And here's some of the early pages of the story. These two guys are basically collecting all the lizards they can so that they can sell it to the monk on the Snake Island. And Usagi runs across them. And there's one lizard left that they haven't caught, so he chases after it. And he trips over some rocks, breaks his ankle, or sprained his ankle. And so they can't take the lizard to the hermit. So he goes, okay, well, I'll go ahead and deliver the lizards to this guy and get your money for you type thing. And that's kind of how the whole story sets up. So that's kind of a cool story. Pop Culture Adventure asks, what's your feelings on the possibility of a new live-action heavy metal movie or series that's being discussed? I don't really know. It depends on what they do, I guess. I'd rather see an animated rather than live action, in a way. But I'm kind of a person that believes in keeping different media separate from each other. So, like, when you have an anthology magazine like Heavy Metal, it's like, okay, what are you going to pick? You know, I mean, if you do an amazing stories type anthology TV show and do like 1 or 2 stories with an overreaching arc every week or something, you know, maybe I could see that happening. That can be done. I mean, there's ways to do it, but I don't know. We'll see. Pop culture of interest. You can't go with Usagi. It's been great for years, decades. It's perfection. Everybody asks me, what's the perfect comic? I always say Usagi Yojimbo. That's the one book I can recommend to anybody, pretty much, and feel comfortable having recommended it. Speaking of which, we go on to our next book, which is another Usagi Yojimbo book, and that is Usagi Yojimbo Wanderers Road number 6 for $3.99. IDW Publishing again, Stan Sakai again, colors by Rhonda Pattison, covered by Peach Momoko, Anthropomorphic Samurai Adventure, and this is the final issue of this story arc, and what it's about. Released yesterday, April 28th. What it's about. Ninja steals a sacred katana blade from a lord that Usagi's friend Tomo was guarding and is now on the lookout for. Of course, Usagi stumbles across the wounded ninja, and who is now disguised as a simple woodcutter in his travels, and Usagi suspects him and follows him and eventually confronts him. In the battle, instead of killing the ninja, he simply switches the katana out for a different stick of wood, and the blade eventually makes its way back to Tomo. I keep thinking these are new stories, but I guess they're reprints of the early stuff, which are recolored. Either way, these are always worthy reads, and you should pick them up. This is the last issue of this arc. The next arc will be called The Dragon Bellow Conspiracy, which will reprint Usagi Yojimbo Volume 1, number 13 through 19. It'll be recolored and will feature colors by none other than mouse guard artist David Peterson, so that ought to be quite interesting. Again, as always, Usagi is perfection. Buy it, live it, love it. Recommended for ages 10 and up, 5 stars. And that is our reviews for this week. But we have more to talk about. We got previews this week. I've got roughly halfway through it. But let's see what we found so far. Oh, wait. Let's show some of that artwork for Usagi. This is the newest one here. Tomo does get the ninja in the leg, and she thinks that it's there. The ninja smart takes his hood off and makes sure that her staff blade doesn't get any blood on it by wiping it with his mask. Clever writing, not so sure realistic, but okay. He sneaks out with an injured leg, kills the second guard, and then escapes with the wounded leg. There you go. That's the beginning of that story. And here is the previews catalog for May of 2021. Okay. Now, there's a lot of stuff I've been checking off little bit by little bit. I haven't really had a chance to write everything down. I just got the stuff late yesterday. But we'll go through it real quick. And we'll probably go through it again on Monday, just to be on the safe side. But let's see what grabbed my attentions real fast. There is going to be a Skybound X thing. It's like weekly, I guess, coming out from Kirkman and Company, where it's like an anthology series called Skybound X. It's going to have multiple writers: Robert Kirkman, Tilly Walden, James Herron, and Chris Dingus. Then Chip Zdarsky, Joshua Williamson, Irma Kaniva, and Trey Young writing. And there's going to be like Ryan Otley and Ramon Perez, and like I said, just a bunch of different artists and writers every single week in July. I guess there's going to be like 5 issues of this every week. So that'll be something that most people will probably look into. I probably won't get it because I'm not really a Kirkman guy, but I'm pretty sure that that's something that people should probably take notice of. There's a lot of number ones in the Image line that I didn't really take a real close look at. I'll have to take another look at them again, and I'll come back to it on Monday most likely. But I'm looking for the stuff that I actually checked off as stuff I'm definitely ordering. Well, we know I'm going to order Deep Beyond because they've now marked it as a limited series of 12 issues, and this is marked off as 6. And I remember saying I was losing interest around issue 4 or 5. But if it's going to be a full 12 issues, I can go ahead and go for the full 12 and read it. So I'll go ahead and get Deep Beyond for the full 12. Let's see what else from Image. Jewel Verne's Lighthouse, that's a 5-issue series. They're soliciting number 4, so that's no big deal there. Shadecraft number 5, we just talked about Shadecraft number 2, and that is an end of story arc. If it doesn't pick up real off the next issue or two, I'll probably end it at number 5. But based on what I'm reading from the solicitation, her brother's like losing his mind from being stuck as her shadow. So maybe it would come to a final battle between them, or not a final battle, but a battle where she has to help him either gain control of himself or get back to his body that's in a coma. Hopefully, we'll see what's what there, but we'll see. And that's kind of from Image all I really saw. Let's see what's going on with Dark Horse real quick. Again, stuff I have got marked off. There's stuff that's out there, but Norse Mythology, book 2, number 2 of 6. That's the Neil Gaiman stuff that he does with P. Craig Russell. I'll be getting that. Let's see. Kind of looking around here. Jenny Zero number 4 of 4 is solicited. I have a question mark by it because Jenny Zero number 1 was supposed to come out like 2 weeks ago, and there was a recall on it, and I don't know if Jenny Zero number 1 ever got re-released from Dark Horse, so kind of have to wait and see on that one. There's Beasts of Burden, Occupied Territory, number 4 of 4. I'll be getting that. And then the last issue of Grendel's Devil's Odyssey, number 8 of 8. I'll be getting that. Let's see. If you have ever heard of Dan Brereton's Nocturnals and haven't picked it up before, there's an omnibus for $30 that collects pretty much all the Dark Horse stuff that they publish. So it's like 360 pages for $30 in a hardcover edition, full color, and that's a good price for all that material. So they got that available in there. Let's see. Again, I'll probably make mention of some of this stuff again on Monday. At IDW, there's Bermuda, number 1 of 4. That's the new book by Josh Lehman and Nick Bradshaw. It'll also have some Art Adams variant covers, which is kind of silly because Nick Bradshaw is the new Art Adams, but in a way, but okay, whatever. It's kind of like having the same guy. The new Kanto book. You guys know I always review the Kanto stuff. The new Kanto series, Lionhearted, number 1, comes out, so that'll be out. That's listed in that book in the new catalog. Let's see. Again, on Monday I'll do a little bit more of this stuff. Usagi Yojimbo. There's issue 21, the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy. And if you haven't been getting the Wanderer's Road in the singles, you can get Wanderer's Road as volume 2. It says Usagi Yojimbo Origins Volume 2 Wanderer's Road as a trade paperback for $20. So they'll have that as well. And Pop Culture Vendor says he hasn't got the new previews yet. Tomorrow, possibly. I haven't looked at the Marvel section yet of the previews. I always look at that separate from the rest of the catalog because I typically don't buy Marvel, but I always do look at it. There's not a whole lot from Dynamite. I mean, there's some interesting things at Dynamite, but I typically don't buy Dynamite books. Just not my thing. There's the cover of the catalog is a thing called Dark Blood, which is a new limited series of Boom Studios. Let me see if I can get to that. Oh, there's a new Mouse Guard book from David Peterson coming out. The Owlin Caregiver. I don't know if it's the first issue of a new series, so I don't know if it's an ongoing or, well, it's not an ongoing. It'll be however many issues he does it for, I guess, but it doesn't say how many issues it's going to be. Let's see. It's 32 pages for $4.99. Expected to come out on July 14th. So let me see. It has 3 stories in it, so it might be 3 short stories. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Okay, here's a Dark Blood thing. It's a 6-issue miniseries. If you like Bitterroot or Department of Truth, it's a concept of what if you had been given the power to change the course of history. Alabama, 1955. Avery Aldridge is an ordinary young black man, a decorated World War II veteran. He provides for his wife and daughter, but wounds of the past have a way of coming back, and he soon discovers that he's anything but ordinary. After running awakens strange new abilities, he finds he's about to become more powerful than he ever could have dared to dream in a country and society that never wanted him to have any power. I don't know, nothing wrong with that, I guess, at the same time, it's kind of one of those things that I'll look at it when it comes out. I don't think I'll pre-order it. It's kind of because I've done that with a lot of the books, with the some of the black creators, because some of the times when I read them, the tone just doesn't. It hits me wrong, so I have to wait and see when they come in the store. Let's see what else we got. I really do need to get caught up on Something Is Killing the Children. I know I got the first trade paperback, but I don't know. Same thing with We Only Find Them When They're Dead. I've been reading it. I have a question mark by number 8, but I don't know. Let's see what else. I mentioned Octavia Butler. last Friday on the favorite science fiction authors. And on page 227 of the catalog, previous catalog, there's a graphic novel adapting her book, Parable of the Sower. And it's $16.99 from Abrams Comic Arts. So that's written by Octavia Butler, adapted by Damian Duffy, and drawn by John Jennings. You might want to look that up if you don't want to read the prose version. It might be worth your time to look into that. Again, I'll probably mention it again on Monday. Let's see. Aftershock Comics has the Clans of Bellari #1. Looks like a kind of a, I don't know. It reminds me of kind of like Battlestar Galactica meets Dune. So we'll look at that again a little bit closer. I have a check mark by that. I have a question mark by Out of Body. I don't remember. It has #2. I don't know if I looked at #1 last week or not, or last month's book or not. It's Peter Milligan writing, Anaki Miranda rather. Probably will look at that and get that. Let's see. Girls of Dimension 13. We already reviewed that recently. Issue #1. Issue #4 solicited. I'll get that most likely. Let's see. That's pretty much all the Aftershock stuff. I keep going past the stuff I don't go through. There's certain companies I just don't read their content. And I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just not my thing. Like I don't read Avatar comics. It's just not my. I'm not into the zombies or the kind of books that they publish. Not my thing. Okay. Now we're at the point of where I stopped last night. At Cinna Book, which is the company out of the UK that I tend to buy some things from. I might get Return to Aldebaran, Volume 2, Episode 3, Issue 3. That's on page 283. Let's see. Clover Press, I don't really see anything there. Sorry if this seems a little bit dull. I try to go, this is what I do every time I get my books as fast as I can. Try to do them. I would have probably gone through these more fully last night. I just happened to fall asleep. Yesterday was a very long day, unfortunately. Let's see what time we got here. Okay. But what did you get? Did you get your stuff, Pop Culture? Or are you going to wait until tomorrow? Oh, wow. Those are they're not expensive for what they are. Yeah. Plus Publication on page 301 has The Art of Alan Covenant, The Art of Alan Williams softcover for $40. That's 144 pages. That's some nice art. These are nice art books. And drawings of Edwin Austin Abbey softcover. That's over 400 pages. That's also $40. Again, two excellent artists, art books that I might look into getting. But since you had mentioned you hadn't gotten your previews yet, you probably haven't gotten your comics this week. Let's see. I'm looking at Heavy Metal Magazine. I'll get Heavy Metal 308. I'll get the Kelly cover, most likely. I might get both covers. Both covers look kind of cool. I'll have to look at both. I'll have to put a question of both on that one. It's very rare I do that, but both covers look really cool. Let's see. Never, no. Nope, don't need that. Okay. He goes, I'll go through mine and pick out some titles we can chat about, but for one of your streams. Yeah, possibly. No. That's not, I'd be happy to do that. Do that Monday, actually, when you get that, because if you get yours tomorrow, you always do that. Okay. That's great. Strange Tractor number 4. I got page 313, Infinite Worlds magazine number 8. I put a question mark by, and Strange Tractors number 4 from It's Alive, because I've been getting the Strange Tractors. Those are reprints from comics from the 90s independent scene. I didn't get I remember getting some of them when in the 90s originally, but I only got like one or two, and I want to get the series because I liked it. I just couldn't get it when I lived where I lived at the time. Keen Spot Entertainment has a lovely, and I say that word lovely, Fart Night versus Minecraft parody book. And, well, I'm not getting it, but I totally concur with that title. That's what I think of it. I'm not a big fan of video game type stuff, to be honest, but hey, something for everyone, right? And he says Witchy Poo is calling him for supper, so he'll catch me tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, 9 p.m. Our guest would be writer and actor Bobby Nash, and we'll be talking about our favorite special effects makeup artists for our Friday night genre talk discussion. And I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. Have a good dinner, because I'm going to have to go cook dinner shortly myself. I always cook dinner. But let's go ahead and finish getting through this catalog real quick, if we can. People probably wonder where I'm at. I'm in the paper cuts section of the area right now. Ours Now, Random House, Rebellion. I go through stuff fairly quickly on these catalogs. I do get quite a bit of stuff, but at the same time, let's see. The only thing from Scout is Steak, and that's number 5, which is solicited to be 5 in July. So I guess hopefully they're going to get themselves back on schedule. Let's hope, right? Just writing a note on something. It's not an actual thing. Let's see. I don't buy anything from that company. There's certain companies I just don't buy from. Like I said, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to seem mean to anyone. I'm trying to figure out what this is. It says Horizon Zero Dawn Liberation number 1. It's a new arc. I must have missed something. I don't know what this is offhand. I must have missed it. Oh, it's based on a video game, I guess. Yeah, it's based on a video game. Okay, that's why I don't know what it is. Never mind then. Like I said, video games not my thing. Again, that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad comic or anything. It's just that I can't. First off, I can't afford everything, and the other thing is, if it's based on video games, then there's elements that I might not even get in the story from the video game that you're supposed to know. And it's the same kind of thing with television. You know, if I don't watch a TV show, do I really want to buy a comic based on it, or vice versa? That's why well, I might do some crossover stuff. A lot of times I won't. I tend to be more of a person that likes his material in one format or another and stick to the one format. Let's see. I'm going to put a question by Azamut, or Azamut, hardcover, writer Alfred Lupano, artist by Jean-Baptiste Andre. That's one of the artists who is actually one of the co-authors of the Valerian stuff. It's about a fantasy world where the lives of the characters are turned upside down and the magnetic North Pole simply disappears. So I don't know what it's. I'm gonna have to look a little. I'm gonna do a little more research on that one. So I got a question mark on that one. I might be interested. I might not. Yeah, it's a pretty pricey book. Let's see. Gonna get me a back issue 130. I already have a back issue 122. I'm gonna put a question mark by Modern Masters, Paulo Rivera. Do a little research on that. We're now at the Valiant Entertainment piece. Really not a Valiant type of guy. Not that there's anything wrong with their books. It's just not my thing. We're at Vault. Well, I'm definitely not getting that. I was thinking about it, but not now. There was a book I was going to get. I've heard about called The Last Book You'll Ever Read, but given who the author is, I'm tired of that author. He's constantly putting out books, way too damn many books, as a matter of fact. So for that reason alone, it's an automatic no sale. Anytime I see his name. So, yeah. Fair warning to writers, your limit is 4 titles. You do more than 4, I write you off. And once I write you off, I write you off. And why would you do that? Because this particular author has as many as 16 titles a month between 10 and 11 different publishers at the same time. As you can see in the corner, my kitty is here. He wants his dinner. But we're in the W's. We're almost done, little one. I don't think there's anything in there. I don't think there'll be anything in the manga, but I'll look. Sometimes, every once in a blue moon, there's a manga that grabs my attention. But it's not very often. No. Doesn't look like it. Down. He gets anxious around this time of day. Okay, I don't see anything in apparel that I need to get. No, I don't like that. And that's all the toys, so I'm not going to worry about that. So that is pretty much that for previews. I will go back over it a little more thoroughly and review it again on Monday. Okay, now what are we going to do again tomorrow? Well, tomorrow, my guest again is author, actor Bobby Nash, and we'll talk about our favorite special effects and makeup artists of movies, television. And I was waiting to hear back from certain people I'd had when I made this, and I've heard back from them since, and they're not going to make it. So it's just going to be me and Bobby tomorrow night at 9 p.m. live. Then on Saturday and Sunday for live draw, we will have The Mummy. Then I'll be drawing up The Mummy from the live draw request line, I guess you could say. They wanted The Mummy or The Werewolf last week, and Werewolf won on the spin. So I'll do Mummy this week. Mm-hmm. And then on Monday, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get my reviews of Carbon number 4 by Mark Schultz. Mm-hmm. The Al Williamson and Mark Schultz Astounding Sketchbook. Mm-hmm. The Essential Doctor Strange, Volume 1. The Essential, Marvel Essentials, The Man Called Nova, Volume 1. Reach over again. Al Williamson, Strange New World Adventures. And then there's one more book. What's it called? Solid State. And I don't have it right by me right now. Let me check my thing if I can pull it up for you guys. I couldn't get the graphics ready at the same time. It's co-written by Mark Colton and Matt Fraction, and it's from Image Comics, and it's hardcover. And I got that a while back, and it's been sitting in my back issue stuff basically for a while now. So that's what I'll be reading this weekend and getting ready for Monday reviews. Okay. So until then, I will see you guys tomorrow evening on 9 p.m. for our Friday Night Features topic. In the meantime, if you want to reach me on Facebook, Lewis.BrightRaven, at Twitter, LewisBrightRave2, at DeviantArt, deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You're watching Quoth the Raven on YouTube. Well, Quoth the Raven, Lewis Brett Raven. You can email me at quothravenlbr72@gmail.com, or if you can't reach me at the Gmail address, try lewisbrettraven@yahoo.com. Normally, Mondays we do our comics news and reviews. Wednesdays we do What Did You Get This Week. Thursday nights we usually do Roundtable Talk at 9 p.m. And Fridays we usually do our genre night discussion. Again, this week, Friday night, Bobby Nash and I will be talking about our favorite special effects and makeup artists. Saturdays and Sundays, we do our live draw. And again, this week, my topic will be The Mummy, or A Mummy, anyway. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.